What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at some NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin, last year's figures of our Nightwatcher Leonardo and Michelangelo. So these look really cool. Now, unfortunately, of course, they're going to look like the figures we've already had in the past from the before timeline when most of the turtles were still alive. So like I said, we've already had these. Unfortunately, they're just going to be in a different color this time. So we can kind of see it here on the box. So it's going to be more like a grayscale, but with like red highlights. Like red's going to be really the only color we see, but looks cool for Leonardo. Again, we've had him in this outfit before. We can spin around, see him there, as well as our figure. So as you can see more of that grayscale design. So it looks like a lot of black and grays, but with the red that will stand out against it. And we can open up, see a picture there, and our figure itself. So as you see, yeah, mostly in a grayscale, but with the red showing. So we get that for Leonardo, and it's going to be very similar for Michelangelo. So we can spin the box around just so you see what that looks like. And again, going to be in the mostly grayscale with the red showing through. So it looks cool. I do really like the look and everything of these. It's just unfortunate that they are just pretty much complete reuse of those other figures we've already had. And of course, I'll show you those comparisons, but just reuse of that just in a different color this time. But they still look really cool. Like I said, I like this design. They just often don't fit too well since they're more of that grayscale design, but they look really cool. So let me get these open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So we're going to start off with the Nightwatcher Leonardo, which after the fall of Raphael, the remaining turtles form the Nightwatchers along with April O'Neil and Casey Jones. So that's pretty much, I guess, what this is supposed to be. I'm not really sure on the whole details and everything about this, but it does look really cool. I like the design. Like I mentioned, it's more of this grayscale sort of color, but the red that all stands out. So the red is really like high contrast stuff. So we get the red like scarf, or I guess it's scarf there, going into a cloak down his back, which is nice, like a little robe or cape piece hanging off the back here. Then we get the red on his forearm, so his little forearm guards there, looks pretty nice, very samurai-ish, as well as the padding coming down his leg. And then he has the knee pads with the nice little horn spikes on him, very similar to the shin guards there, with the little pieces on his feet there as well. So all that red stands out. Then underneath it's just all the grayscale sort of armor. Still has the band around his head. Of course, it's just all dark here, so it's hard to really tell or identify colors and all that. Has the gritty teeth, which is nice. A little bit of armor piece here, like shoulder pauldron with a band going around. So a lot of this is very similar. So a lot of these designs are going to be similar between the characters, but there is differences, like minor changes, and especially on Mikey, he's a lot of new stuff, but very similar between this and the old figure that I will show you here in just a little bit, but looks very similar overall. Like I said, there are differences that I'll try and go over and point out, but still looks good overall. Just like with the grayscale and stuff, it's kind of weird, but the red just stands out against it and makes it look really cool. Now, movement-wise, the head will twist all the way around. Now, of course, you got to get the tail out of its way so it can twist all the way around there, and it can look down that far and up that far. So just a little bit of movement back and forth there. And as I showed, the tails do move, so you can get those twisted around wherever you want those placed. The shoulders will come up to a 90 there and rotate around within there. Bicep twist and the double elbow. Of course, the upper elbow barely moves at all, but the lower elbow joint does move to there, so over 90, which is nice. Wrist will twist all the way around and then flex back and forth. Of course, it's a little stuck in here, but should be able to flex back and forth there a little. Then we can go to, I assume there's an ab crunch or some sort of like crunching back and forth here. You can see it there pretty much at the waist, crunch and twist around. Then down to legs, which will come up there. You can get up that far. Not too bad, not all the way up to 90, but not far from it. And out to the side that far, at least probably because of this armor piece in the way there. Of course, a thigh twist up in there, which is nice for that movement. And then the double knee joint design that'll bend together there. That'll bend up at least that far to the back, which isn't too bad at all. And of course, that upper part has a twist in it, so you can twist the leg side to side, so it works out nice. Then down to the foot, that'll rock back and forth and twist side to side. So decent movements overall. Obviously, with the NECAs and the turtles, never really the best, but I think we were able to just move these straight out of the box, didn't have to heat them up. I feel the last Ronin figures are always kind of like that, so that's pretty nice, and he works out decently overall. Now, accessory-wise, he does come with an additional head, so we get this head that has just more of a stoic face on it, but with fighting and everything, just the one with the gritted teeth will be fine. He comes with a number of hands, so first we get a set of flat palm hands, of course with the turtle's 3 fingers there. You can tell with the red and stuff, that'll match with the others. Then we get some grip hands, not exactly sure what's going on here, but we get what look I'd call like a normal standard grip and then a wide grip as well, so we get those sets of hands, as well as another set that have I'd call 2 standard grips, so I don't know if we got 2 hands by accident or what the deal's going on with our hands there, but we do have this set as well, which I'll probably switch out so we can give him his weapons. But before we give him the swords, he does also come with these kunais, so all these little throwing knives. He gets 5 of them. Our last one had it too, so it's not really surprising we get these. And he has little spots all over his outfit, so especially on his belt, like little slots and stuff like there. And there's a bunch on this side as well that we can store all around him. So I got those all stored around on his belt there, so those are all nice and stored. Now we can go ahead and give him his actual weapons, which of course for Leonardo is going to be his 2 katanas. Of course they're in grayscale as well. We'll put into his hands, but I just want to show that he does have the spots on the back, so he has the cape, again with the spots that they'll slide through, and then there are actual slots here on the shell. He's got a little shell covering, so those that you can line those up and get those slid into and store on his back. So that's pretty nice. The last figure had something very similar, to a little different in the design, but still works about the same there, so you can have those stored on the back, which looks nice. But let's go and put him in his hand. So there's Leonardo with both of the swords, so that looks really cool. Nice design overall for that. Now, as I keep mentioning, we've had the old figure, so again, don't really know exactly where this is specifically from, but here is that older figure, and like I said, a lot of similarities between the two, of course, with the weapons designs, all that sort of stuff, just going from the normal color version into this more grayscale with the red. So a lot of similarities there. Of course, differences with like the scarf piece around the neck. This one's tattered, torn, and more space going on there, and the forearm armor is a little different. You know, I guess on the forearms the same, but on the hands are different. They've got different knee pads and like designs on the feet and all that. That's different. And of course the cape piece in the back. So he has this more bigger cape piece that hangs down compared to this smaller one on here, but underneath they're pretty much the same underneath on that. So a lot of the base body's the same and everything, just going from the black and white to the color and stuff. So very nice for that overall. Like I said, these are kind of weird with them being all in the grayscale and everything, but they do have really nice designs with that red that stands out against it and everything. So I do really like them overall. But of course, as you see, we have the others, so these definitely aren't necessary. They're just a cool design. And then we also have Michelangelo, which looks really good here. Now, he has a lot more different designs going on. Of course, a lot of similarities, but different designs as well. So we'll kind of look through that. But looks good overall, again, in a more gray scale. So the grays and blacks and all that sort of stuff, with the red design sort of highlighting on here. So we get the red, especially with like the straps down the chest and there, belt around the waist, nice outline design on the bottom of like his coat he's wearing and around the sleeves as well, bands on his arms, and just all that red looks really nice. Then the rest, of course, is in the grayscale sort of colors there. We get his face where he's a little bit angry there and has his bandana that's all tattered and stuff around his face. He has shorter head tail, so that's one way to distinguish between the two. Hood that's laid back there, so he has a hood design as well. Nice belt around his waist that'll hold stuff. Got the slots here in the front for his nunchucks, so it's nice to have those on the front. And then he has more of like the baggy pant designs. Got some knee pads there with the wrapped up feet, wrapped up hands as well, but the sleeves sort of come down. At least he's got, looks like some bears, so he has like these weird sleeves on his arms or something with the elbow pads there. Just overall is a cool design. Really like the overall jacket or whatever he's wearing there. Looks really cool on top of his turtle body. Now, movement-wise, that will twist all the way around and can look down that far and up that far. So not too bad with the movements. We get the shoulders that will come up, not really too far there. Can only go about that far, though, because of the sleeve. And it should be able to rotate in there as well. With the bicep twist and the double elbow joint, that'll bend up that far. So over 90, so pretty decent. With the wrist, that'll twist around and then flex back and forth. Then we get his ab crunch, which you can probably just at the waist crunch a little back and forth and twist around there. Then we go down to the hips that'll come up there, not too bad, just not very high once again, and out to the side. Has a thigh twist up in there and the double knee joint design that was pretty stiff there on the bottom, but can bend up that far to the back. And of course that top joint has the twist in it as well. Then we go down to the foot that'll rock back and forth and twist side to side. So pretty much the same movements as Leonardo, so nothing really surprising there or anything for him. Now, accessory-wise, he does come with an additional head, so again, more of just a stoic head. I like how he's got more of like a powder or something there with his head, so that's nice. But again, for fighting, we want this head. We get a set of hands that have more open hands here. The 3 fingers, of course, sort of sticking out there like that. And then a set of grip hands as well, which of course we'll need for the weapons, so let's switch those out. So with those grip hands, we can then give him his weapons. Of course, for Michelangelo is the nunchucks. So we get the nunchucks, which again are kind of small here. It's always crazy with that small design. Now, like I said, we do have the spots here on the front of his belt, so we could like store the nunchucks away, so it's nice. And I love how they're on the front here, so nice easy access to them and everything with them right there on the front, so you can store them like that. But let's go and put them in his hand. So there he's got the nunchucks, and of course, as usual, when you have chain nunchucks, you can't really get them posed up. They just sort of need to dangle there. But there we've got Michelangelo, and of course, we can bring in the older one, which again is more of the full color design. And again, you can see a lot of difference between it. So we get some similarities, like he's still got a hooded design and sort of like a jacket, but it looks like the jacket's probably been all torn up and everything. Has this new armor plate on top where he has the slots for his nunchucks. So of course, that's different, that whole section in there. The pant legs are even different because this one has a strap around his right leg where he has a strap back on his left leg, the more it goes up to the side there. And of course, everything's all different around there. The knee pads are different, and feet, who knows if they're reused or not, but you know, they're wrapped up, but just obviously different between the colors. So the Michelangelo has a lot of like new sculpt and stuff going on, or at least different outfit designs and everything. So he's less reused, unlike Leonardo that had a lot of reuse. So there is a bit of difference going on there, but overall Michelangelo still looks cool, and again, nice with the grayscale design. But that is going to be it for our two NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin figures, where we got the Nightwatcher Leonardo and Nightwatcher Michelangelo. Both of these look really cool. Of course, they're nice figures, like the designs. Of course, like I said, Michelangelo has a lot more different design, as we found out. So it's not like completely pointless to buy these, because there's some difference going on with the design. It's just with the grayscale, I don't really know what you'd use these for, but the grayscale with the red really stands out. So it's like a really cool design. So something that stands out and unique. But of course, for me with the turtles, I always like the color design. You want the green skin with their different colored bandanas just to make them stand out more. But both of these look really cool, so I can't really hate on them too much. But let me know what you thought of these two figures down in the comments. And if you enjoyed my review, let me know with that like. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.